4, 3, 2, 1.
Thor is shown throwing a steel table. Well, that's impossible. Because you can't just throw a steel table. It doesn't work like that. I mean, no one's strong enough to throw a really heavy table like that, especially like with food on it, and the table had like turkey and everything on it. So that's definitely possible for anybody to do. So in scene 3 of the movie Thor, they're shown in an electric dome that's filled with electricity. Well, that's impossible, first of all. Second of all, they would be dead because of the electrocution in the air. Wait, the electricity. I meant the electricity. Because of
static electricity.
The static electricity in the air would have killed them. It would have electrocuted them. They would have died. They would have been dead. So that's impossible. I don't know who wrote this movie, but they're obviously not a fan of physics.
To prove it's bad physics was when the destroyer first landed on Earth and vaporized a car in 2 seconds. Okay, so the first thing I looked up was what our car is made out of, and they're made out of aluminum and steel. So I looked up the melting point for aluminum, and I found it, and it was 13,701.1 degrees Celsius. Then I compared the fire coming out of the Terminator to an open flame, and that was about 1,400 degrees Celsius.
Is that one of Stark's? I don't know. Here we go.
So I set up a proportion, and I found out that it would take about 180 seconds to completely melt the car. And that's why this is impossible, because the car melted in 2 seconds, and it needed So, the second scene I decided to prove as not possible was when Thor was exiled from Asgard and was launched onto Earth at a force that should have killed him, but he was still able to live. So how I started finding this was I compared his body to a meteor and set up a proportion to find his approximate acceleration. Then I found the force that he would have landed with and compared it to the force needed to kill an average human being through impact of the skull. And the force that he landed with greatly exceeded the force needed to kill him. So that is why it's impossible.
So in my scene, I have Thor and his brother Loki falling off this bridge. Keep in mind, earlier in the movie, their father was practically dead. And now Thor and Loki are about to fall to their impending death when all of a sudden their father comes, catches them, and holds them both up with one hand. This is physically impossible because on this planet, it seems like there is gravity because they are not floating, and gravity's like a force that pushes down on objects, and that's what they're basically doing if they're walking and not floating, you know? So basically, yeah, it doesn't even make any sense because his father was very weak in the beginning, and all of a sudden, like, he's just so strong. And let's just say, hypothetically speaking, Thor weighs about 238 pounds without the armor, and Loki weighs about 210 pounds without the armor. So that equals up to 448 pounds. And then you have the father that weighs about 195 pounds. So that is not even half of the weight. And he's sitting here carrying all this weight with one arm, not struggling or anything. So that is why it is physically impossible to carry 2 grown men with one hand. Like, it just doesn't even make any sense. I don't even know why we did that. Okay, so my last scene is Thor manages to smash a bridge in half with a hammer and his strength, I guess. Keep in mind, this bridge can hold up to hundreds and thousands of people, and this man, one man, smashed it with a hammer. Yeah. And, you know, it just doesn't make any sense, because the reason this is bad physics is because it doesn't matter how much force is applied to the spot or how fast he hits the bridge, it cannot break. It just cannot break in half. To find how much force it takes to smash the bridge is by multiplying the mass times the acceleration. And one man cannot be strong enough and move fast enough to smash the bridge in half. It's just dumb. So, all in all, it is not possible for him to smash something that big on his own. Also, by using physics formulas and common sense, the movie maker should have known that bad physics is not possible.
I never wash my hands? I always wash my hands. I remember to brush my teeth this morning. Okay, I'm ugly.
You make my egg push quiz.
Peyton, don't you have to go home?
Yeah, okay, anyway.
You make me